Come onto a journey between the unknown and what we've been told. We are all the same, yet so different. And here is where we find common ground. This is the Downtuned. Happy Halloween. Be careful what you believe. So sit back, grab a drink, and let's dive into the deep side of life. Hey guys, welcome to the Downtuned episode 2. Happy Halloween. Today is a special for Halloween. So happy Halloween. You know, life is pretty crazy. Like in the last episode, we were talking about nothing but perspectives. Perspective, keep that all in mind because that's what life's all about. You gotta have that perspective to interpret things different ways so we're not blinded by our own lack of knowledge. Sometimes we don't know things other people don't know. Sometimes we hear one thing and it changes our whole perception of life. It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Joking. So, there's a song. It's by The Virus and Antidote. It's called I Wonder Who Took My Place This Time. It's the longest freaking title I've ever heard. Without spaces. It's all that. And I like it because it has a narrator from YouTube on it. His name's Corpse Husband. Shout out to Corpse Husband. Dude, you're sick. Keep on the awesome videos. But takes a quote from like one of his videos. It's like I forgot what he basically says, but the freaking first verse is what I really focused on. It said, given the fact that you're not actually living, it wouldn't give a difference if you continue different instance. Imagine if you had a vision of life after this one, but it was just continuation but switching dimensions. Dementia comes uncommon and constantly hitting your inner self, telling you to go to hell or prison. The nooses started gluing and now you're showing resistance consistently in your conscience. The demons want you to end it. That's trippy as fuck. Like given the fact that if you're not living, actually living life, there's a difference between just breathing and waking up every day. Basically what the first quote from freaking Corpse Husband says in the beginning of the song. If you hear it, I'll link the song in the descriptions. But it's like pretty like crazy. Like if you're not living, would it make a difference if you continue different lives or if you just live your life the same? Would it make a difference? But it said, imagine if you had a vision of life after this one, but it was just continuing, but in switching dimensions. So that means like if you died, it was just gonna fucking start all over again in a different dimension, or it's gonna go all over again from the beginning, and you start all this shit all over. It's like different ways you can interpret it. But it says, switching dimensions, dementia comes common. When people have dementia, they're losing themselves, but kind of like they're still there. And then constantly hitting your inner self, telling you go to hell or a prison. So basically, telling you you're going to either die or you're going to end up in prison. That's how life tries to push you, stress you so much to a point for certain people, at least for this lyrics, for instance. And it's telling you now the nooses are glowing, but now you're showing resistance. Because consistently in your conscience, the demons want you to end it. Consistently in your conscience, the demons want you to end it. Your conscience is your own demon. Your demons is yourself, your inner self, of what you put yourself through, you challenge yourself through, you lack of challenging yourself puts yourself through. And then basically saying, do you kill yourself or live? But it's not literally saying like hang yourself, kill yourself. It says now the nooses are glowing. Now you're showing resistance. You're fighting the will to kill yourself. And it's not saying like only killing yourself, like to kill yourself, but it's talking about killing yourself innerly. Talking about like how we make decisions that just destroy us as a person or destroy our world around us or the world we want. Life is not always even, and sometimes in general anything is not even, but we have to make do and fight constantly against the demons that tell us that this is all happening only to us when it's not. Things happen to everybody for a reason, and different people go through different stuff for a reason. You never know. But that song's pretty crazy though. I really liked it because in the beginning, freaking Corpse Husband freaking did a pretty good job in that. So I'm pretty sure it was a creepypasta he was reading, but it was pretty creepy. It was like basically just questioning life, really like questioning, but it's pretty dope at the end. It says that he's gonna die, but he'll try to make it pretty, and then he goes into a beat, and that's pretty dope though. I like the song in general, musically and lyrically. It was a pretty good song. But anyways, talking about switching dimensions in the song, there's a story on Reddit about like somebody, I believe they died in a car accident, but their spirit didn't allow them to die and they switched dimensions. So like the way they say it is like they were driving in a car, had to turn right, and they were like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna turn right now. And they turned right, they started turning into the lane, and then they blinked their eyes, and then they ended up back in that first lane that they started off in. Like completely reset, like if they never turned right in the first place. And then they looked to the right lane, and like a fucking car goes speeding down that lane, and that person knew like if that car would have hit him, they would have died. And he was like, oh shit, that's my soul. I died right there. My soul just took me to a different dimension where I didn't die. It's pretty crazy. It's kind of messed up though, but it's pretty crazy. Like, imagine if that was really life, like in your own perspective, the life that you were living through your eyes, like it doesn't allow you to end. And every time that you're about to die, you just go back to a part that you're about to die, but you end up surviving in a different dimension, so your soul transferred. What if life was like that? Just theory, remember, perspectives. But yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy because, like, I've had a couple near-death experiences. I was like, shit, like, what if I did die? And like, I just my soul continued on living, and like, I seen what I think is life right now, but honestly, I'm actually dead. Like, that'd be pretty intense, but in real life, that could be actually a realistic point of view from like me per se, like not everybody, but just to me that sounds kind of like intriguing. If you think about like the atoms you're made out of, like what makes your essence is basically made out of like everything in the universe. Yeah, everything in the universe is created from everything is connected in a way. So like to say like your soul, quote unquote, or spirit, whatever, travels through everything, because you know, like, you never know what happens when you die. No one could really say definitely. They can't prove it. They could say what they've personally been through, and everyone has their own different variations of like variations of hell or variations of the afterlife or heaven, or like some people have like alien ones. Like there's like different types of like afterlife stories. So you never know what is really true. You never really know like what's gonna be out there. But okay, let's keep it all in perspectives though. Like let's hear some people's like ideas if we can. This is like a pretty good one though. Like it's how your soul transfers if you're gonna die. Like that's pretty cool. It's not definite though. I'm not saying I believe in 100% sure, but it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Have you guys ever heard of the Skinwalker mythos? Because we got a very spooky one for you. Well, at least in mine, it's pretty spooky. I think it's really creepy. Basically, there's two ways you could look at this. You could look at it from a standpoint of historical heritage from Native Americans, or you could look at it from a standpoint of like a creepypasta, I guess. I love that. Like if you think about it, like I love myths like in general, like awesome. Like from Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Egyptian mythology. Every type of mythology is pretty interesting, especially like religiously. Like the stories behind them, pretty intense. But like same thing for like Native American beliefs. I think it's like pretty interesting. Theirs is more like based on land and their heritage, and I don't really know 100%. My friends are natives. Shout out to the natives, homeboys. But the Skinwalker mythos it's pretty scary. Like the first time I heard about it was from B Busta. Shout out to B Busta. B Busta, bro. Check out his podcast and his YouTube channel. He has very good stories. He's pretty good. But the first time I heard about it was from him and Lazy Masquerade. Shout out to Lazy Masquerade too. He's pretty good. Really good YouTube narrator too. But my favorite one was I'm pretty sure everyone would know this, but it's a story from him called Cabin Getaway, and he has a whole playlist of it. You should check it out. It's one of my favorite fucking stories. But I have the book right here. It's fucking Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. If you're ever interested in horror novels, check it out. I recommend it 100%. I really love that book. But it's really intense. Pretty much about a guy and a girl that live in a cabin, that go out and get away from in a cabin, pretty much like it says. And some weird shit happening, but it's kind of like a Skinwalker, Wendigo type of thing. And they're basically almost similar, but not definitely the same thing. They're just different things. Almost exactly the same, but differently. Mythos-wise, it's different, I guess. But a Skinwalker, we're going to read over the fucking definition of a Skinwalker for you guys, so I'm not just pulling it out of my ass like it's on the internet. Other shit I've been like saying from the top of my head because I usually remember this just like half right, but it's more interesting to look it up and hear it, because I'm pretty sure if you look up any of these things that I'm talking about, you can find it. Anyways, this one's a Skinwalker is a medicine man or who is a tenet of high-level priesthood in a tribe, but who chose to use his or her power for evil by taking form of an animal inflicted with pain and suffering on others. I don't know about that's really like... Sounds like pretty plain for a definition, honestly. But I would say more like... Oh, maybe that's right. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But this is my research I'm doing. To become a Skinwalker, one requires the most most evil deeds and killing the most closest family member. They literally become humans. They literally become humans who require enormous supernatural powers, including the ability to transform into animals and other people. Like that's like really fucking creepy. But like that's pretty much Skinwalker. Like it's like the definition. Like I guess an in-depth definition, but that's like a broad definition of a Skinwalker, pretty much. But that's they're pretty creepy. Like they're able to mimic voices. Imagine just being out, like taking a hike, and you hear someone that sounds familiar. Like you're like, oh, I know that person. They sound like like so and so. Um, I wonder what they're doing out here. It's fucking. You go, oh, I'm gonna go check it out. Go check it out. Get closer, and it was, oh, what are you doing out here? You get closer, and you end up seeing it. It's like actually not actually them. It's like some mangled corpse, like fucking dressed up in like fucking skin of a person, mimicking your friend's voice. Like that's pretty creepy. That's really scary. Like you wouldn't know. It's like like the one thing you trust, like somebody knowing your senses of your hearing, your sight. It's like tricking that, and that's like the most like that's like a hunter's way of thinking, and that's beautiful. That's like a beautiful native myth. Like honestly, to me, it's beautiful, and you can look at it as like a story, a scary story, or you could look at it as history. You never know. Things and lands they were here before any of us were here, and they've known this land longer, so we either just blow everything off like it's nothing, or you never know. I'm just saying. Just saying, it's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about perspective. But like, it's pretty creepy because like I heard about that. I think I heard about them after I started listening to creepypastas. Then I was like, I don't know how old I was. I know I was at, like right after high school, like before I went back to high school because I dropped out. But anyways, like I think that was like around like when I was like 17, 18, around then. And I was at one of my friend's houses, and he was playing his video games because he plays video games. I'm not a really big video game guy. I like video games. Trust me, I don't hate on video games. I love video games, especially horror video games. Horror is my favorite type of video games. Just saying. But like, he was playing video games. I don't remember what he was playing. He was playing like some shooting games. I don't really play those, but I was just chilling on my phone or something, and then like I remember hearing a knock on the back window where we were sitting, and I heard his brother's distinct voice because I know his whole family since like sixth grade, so it was like fucking years since I known this fool. But like, I heard his brother's voice, and I was like, yo, your brother wants you to open the door. He's home. He's like, what the fuck you talking about, dude? Your brother's home already. I was like, maybe it was your other brother? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go check his room. He went to go check that fool's room too. And like, those are the only two brothers, the only two males, other males that live in that house other than himself. And I went to go check, and that guy was in his room too. That's kind of creepy, man. Like, they're both in their rooms. I was like, man, maybe like they barely got home. So like, went to go check, but they were both like completely out. Like they've been out for like a while. Like we were disturbing them from like a long sleep or something. It was, I don't know. It was the story of Skinwalkers kind of remind me of that story. So it really creeped me out. Just like really, really creeped me out. That was intense. It's really really odd. There's another story though that his brother told me. Yeah, he told me that one of their uncles was driving one day, and like he was driving around. He seen a hitchhiker. He was like, "Oh," I'm pick up the hitchhiker, give that guy a ride. It was like, I don't know when around this time was, but they lived in Arizona, so around like the reservation area. I picked up this guy, and they were driving. The passenger said, "Hey, can you turn right here?" And he's like, "Oh," so he turned. He was driving in the desert areas and shit, and they're like, "What the fuck?" But he's like, "Fuck it." He's like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna get this guy where he wants to go, I guess." And the guy says, "Stop right here." Drops him off right here at this random ass spot. And the guy just walks out of the car and walks straight. Like, he literally seen him walk straight, like, towards the headlights, walking straight. And, the guy was gone. Like, he just thought I was completely gone. So the guy was like, "What the fuck is this guy going?" Like, that he disappeared because of the darkness, because it's dark in the desert and shit. You can't really see shit at a certain point in lights. So, I guess he went to go check. And when he walked out of the car, he seen that, it was a cliff. There was just a cliff right there. I don't know. Those two stories kind of creep me out. Remind me of Skinwalkers for some reason. I don't know why the second one reminds me of Skinwalkers, but I think it was because it's reservation land. But I don't think they're Navajo. I think they're like some other tribe. Forgot what they were. But shout out to the Navajos and all the natives out there. Stay real. You guys are always the first ones here. So, on the topic of stories I've heard. They're all like weird, scary stories I've randomly came across. This one was one of my favorites that I was told when I was a child. My dad told me this one of all people. So like, I grew up in a weird family. My dad looked like a cholo like most of my fucking life. And if you don't know what a cholo is, then it's hard to explain. But it's like a wannabe Mexican gangster or a Mexican thug. I don't know I don't know. I don't know how to define them really bad. You could look at movies, look at freaking Little Joker from next Friday, or freaking Blood In, Blood Out, one of my classic movies. Mexican movies like that, or like American Me are pretty good. Defining a cholo. But like that's basically what they're. Anyways, I'm a fucking emo metalhead. Yeah, I like emo music and I like metal music, but I thought it was odd because my dad told me when I was younger that he used to be metalhead when he was my age, or like at least like 16, 17 during that time, or like 15 during that time. Like, he would tell me, "Oh yeah, I used to be a metalhead too." I was like, "What the hell, you don't look like a metalhead." He's like, "Yeah, I used to have long hair." He showed me an ID picture, fucking long ass hair. So, tell me this story about one of his friends that yeah, something happened. You'll find out right now. So basically, I'm gonna say it like how he told it to me. So one day, him and his friend were fucking with the Ouija board, and like they were messing around, and they spoke to something. He didn't clarify exactly what, but he said something, and they got really creeped out and shit, and they got really scared, so they started closing everything. Like, two wannabe metalhead kids that wanted to be devil worshippers, like, they thought that was a big thing back then, so they didn't really know what they're doing. So they basically go on and go talk to this thing, and after they talk to it, they close it off. Like, I don't know if they said goodbye or anything like that. Honestly, he didn't really clarify on that, so maybe I'll ask him. Maybe we'll have one interview one day. We'll talk about this stuff because he has a pretty good perspective on things. A different perspective than me, for sure, but I think he has a good perspective in general. But anyways, he said after that, his friend went home. When he went home, he freaking talked to his girlfriend on the phone. Started talking to her on the phone. his girlfriend was talking to him, and then I guess he was home alone, so like his girlfriend started saying, "Oh, who's home with you? I could hear someone in the background." And he was like, "Oh, no one's here." I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, "No, I can hear people in the back. Like it's like really faint, but I can really hear them in the back." And like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no one really here." I was like, "Oh shit." It's kind of at that time I was like, "Oh shit, it's kind of creepy." And my dad starts saying like, "Oh, well," the girl starts saying, "Oh, well." As they were talking, they were trying to ignore the voices. They thought it was like feedback. Cause back in his time, it was like probably the 1980s. I want to say 1980s. No, probably my 1980s around there. So like the lines weren't that accurate, that good as they are now. But he said they thought it was just like conflicting lines, and so they kept on talking until the voices got to a point where like it was overwhelming. The girl started hearing like random like screaming voices, demonic voices, as he said, yeah, like deep voices, type of shit, you know. Yeah, I did that. Oh god, I'm horrible. But yeah, and she said she heard nothing but that, and she got freaked out, so she hung up the phone, called 911, sent it to his house, and when they got there, he was having a seizure on the floor, what they believe was a seizure, and if she didn't call the 911 right there, they said he would probably have died right there on the floor. But it was odd because like they were messing with Ouija board. She's hearing voices that he didn't hear. Like no one was there. I was like, it's really kind of